welcome to Relish. I'm Alli. I'm a nutritionist and a yoga teacher, and I'm here to talk to you every week about nutrition topics. So welcome to the show. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Today we're going to be talking about fiber and the different kinds of fiber, where to find it, some examples. I have lots of visual aids today to show you. And then we have a really good recipe from two peas in their pod for Thai cabbage salad. And everything in the ingredient list looks really good. And I have everything laid out, as you can see behind me, and next to these beautiful flowers that my husband picked from the garden. But everything's very colorful and beautiful and has lots of fiber. But we'll go over that at the end of the show. So please, as always, put any questions or comments in the chat section. I love talking to everybody during the show. So hellos or comments or questions are always welcome. And I will continue to check down below. Oh, it looks like we have one person. Hello there. All right. So let's talk fiber. All right. So high fiber. Well, first of all, fiber. Fiber is something that is found in plant-based foods that is typically not digested in our body. So we know that it's good for our digestive tract, our system. But let's talk about some other benefits of fiber. Then I'm going to go through the different kinds, and then we'll go from there. So high fiber diets. We know they're good for us, but why are they good for us? Here are some reasons. Well, first and foremost, they're good for our digestion, which we know. We know that it helps keep our intestines healthy and moves things through quickly. So that's a good thing. Another really good thing that fiber is good for is that it helps lower our cholesterol, particularly our LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol. So I'm going to go a little bit more into that when we talk about soluble fibers. But just in general, it helps lower our cholesterol, which is a good thing. The dietary cholesterol that we eat, it helps with that. And it also may help with lowering our blood pressure and inflammation in our body. So we like that too. Another great benefit of having a high fiber diet is it controls our blood sugar. So it helps slow down the absorption of sugar in our diet. So then it helps kind of even out so we don't have these spikes of sugar going into our blood. So we have, that. So it helps improve our blood sugar levels. So it helps people who have diabetes, it helps control their diabetes because it slows the blood or sugar going into our blood, and it also helps prevent diabetes as well for people that don't have diabetes. And fiber also helps us achieve a healthy weight because it keeps us full longer. It's lower in calories. So we typically, if we're having a high fiber diet, you're going to be eating less calorically and less food-wise because the fiber is so filling. So that's one other benefit. And just in general, they have found that it may help us live longer if we eat a high fiber diet because it helps reduce our risk of cardiovascular disease. It helps reduce our risk of cancer. And so overall well-being, high fiber diet's good for us. And typically if you're eating a high fiber diet, you're eating lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, lots of beans, lots of grains, lots of nuts and seeds and all the good stuff. So there are lots of nutrients and minerals and all the good things that come along with foods that are high in fiber. So that's great. So how much fiber should you be eating? That is the big question. And I am here to tell you that every place that I looked pretty much gave the same answer. So women under 50 should be getting 25 grams or more per day. And I'm going to give some examples of how much fiber is in foods to kind of let you know, because 25 grams, but that might be like, okay, great. What does that even mean? Well, I'm going to give you examples. So 25 grams or more for women under 50 and 38 grams or more for men under 50. And then for women over 50, 21 grams or more per day, and men over 50, 30 grams or more per day. So that's just the minimum. I say let's get more. The more a high fiber diet is good, but it is important to remember that if you're adding more fiber into your diet, do it gradually, because it could cause some discomfort, some bloating, and just discomfort in our intestines and our body. So just add a little bit each day, and also drink a lot of water, because I will be talking about this with our soluble fiber discussion. Fiber tends to take the water from our digestive system, so you need to have more water to help move things through. So if you're adding more fiber, add a little bit each day, drink more water, and it should be a pretty easy process from there, because it also is good, because the good bacteria in our bodies needs to get used to all this extra fiber, which is a good thing, but it just needs some time to get used to it. So slow, gradual, add more water to your diet, and then our bacteria in our guts will be happy with us. Okay, so that's the amount. So let's talk about the two different kinds. There's soluble fiber, and then there's insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber absorbs water that's in our body, so it dissolves in water. The soluble fiber dissolves in water. And then it makes like a gel-like material, so it kind of thickens and makes things gel-like in our systems. And this is what is so great for the cholesterol, for lowering our cholesterol, because of these gel-like substances. They interfere with, they fight with the dietary cholesterol in our food. So they interfere with it. They always win. So they interfere with the dietary cholesterol, and therefore that dietary cholesterol isn't getting absorbed as much if you have a lot of fiber in your system. So then that lowers the cholesterol in our bodies. And it also helps with our blood glucose levels, which we just discussed. So it helps stabilize the blood sugar levels. Examples of soluble fiber. I'm just going to list them, and then when I give examples, I have some visual aids. So, I'll just show. I do have some, but we'll come back to the visual aids, and I'm going to read some labels. But oats, peas, beans, apples, citrus fruits, carrots, barley, psyllium, which I have a psyllium supplement that we'll talk about in a little bit, pears, and apricots. So those are examples of foods that have soluble fiber in them. Okay, moving on to insoluble fibers. Insoluble fiber is fiber that is definitely not digested, and it helps food move through the digestive system. And this is especially good for people that struggle with constipation, because it helps move things through. And let's give some more examples. Whole wheat flour, or like things with whole wheat in it, like whole wheat pasta. Wheat bran, nuts, beans again. Vegetables like cauliflower, green beans, potatoes, cabbage, onions, root vegetables, green leafy vegetables. And then what else? Corn bran, popcorn, one of my favorites. We'll look at this label in just a little bit. Popcorn, and seeds and nuts. So things like trusty old chia seeds and flax seeds. Those all have insoluble fiber. So I'm going to give a little teaser here, because I think this is just amazing. So one serving of chia seeds listed on here is 2 tablespoons, which is kind of a lot of chia to consume at one time. But just as a frame of reference, has 8 grams of fiber. And sometimes the label will tell you if it's soluble. Whoops, there we go. Sometimes the label will tell you if it's soluble or insoluble. So this has 8 grams. Oh, there's a little glare. Okay, there we go. 8 grams of fiber, and 8 of those grams are insoluble fiber. So that's a good thing. And I want to show you this on the oatmeal. Oatmeal, 1 serving is a half a cup dry. Dietary fiber, 5 grams. Soluble fiber, 2 grams. Insoluble fiber, 3 grams. So it kind of breaks it down for you. Things that typically have high fiber might break it down for you, but sometimes it doesn't. We'll talk about it in a little bit. So those are some examples. So it's always helpful to read the label. And then there's also, so insoluble, soluble fiber. Those are, I gave you some examples of food sources. Sometimes you see foods, like a processed food, that you look at the label and it has a lot of fiber and you think, I didn't think this item would actually have this much fiber. Well, sometimes they add it. So ingredients such as, a lot of times it's listed as inulin or chicory root, or sometimes psyllium. So those three things are typically the ingredients that people add to add fiber to a food. And that's great, especially if if it's a day where you're like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get very many fruits and vegetables into my diet. I'm going to get this food item where it's been added. Great. But it's just, it's best to get it from from foods, because then you're getting all the nutrients and minerals and everything else from them. But it's an option. It's an option. So then there are also supplements. So psyllium husks, which we just discussed. So these are psyllium husk capsules. And but you can also buy it loose, and then you can just like stir it into a smoothie or add it to whatever. This is what it looks like. It's just the psyllium inside a capsule, just to make it easier to consume. But like 3 capsules here have 1.1 grams of fiber. 1 gram is soluble and 0.1 is insoluble. So that's just an option. Or the powder, the psyllium powder, you can add that to things. But a lot of the supplements like the Metamucil and the Citracel and the Fibercon, those typically use psyllium, or they use cellulose or guar gum or pectin or wheat dextrin. So they're all different things people use for the added fiber. And like we were just saying, it's an option. It's definitely an option. Try to get it from foods. But if you can't, or if you just need the extra boost, those options are good as well. Okay, so you're like, okay, so let's see. Let's say we'll go with the 25. Women under 50 should be getting 25 grams or less, or more. 25 grams or more per day. Okay, so how can we get that? I will show you. I have some examples, and then I have some visual aids and some I don't. So, for example, 1 cup of chopped jicama has 6 grams of fiber. 1 apple, this is kind of a small apple, but a medium-sized apple has 4 to 5 grams, between 4 and 5 grams of fiber per apple. This is kind of small, so maybe it has like 3 or 4, but still, that's something. That's something. This is one of the winners. 1 cup of fresh blackberries, or frozen, either way. Our friend Myla gave this to us yesterday. She picked them herself up in the Pacific Northwest. We're so lucky because we have blackberry bushes everywhere. Oh, hello, Mercedes. What kinds of vegetables and fruit do you find fiber? Excuse me, great question. And I'm going to give some examples now of ones that have a lot of fiber. So apples are great. Pears also have a good amount of fiber. Berries have a lot. So 1 cup of blackberries, 8 grams of fiber. That's a lot of fiber. And a cup of blackberries is easy to eat. A cup of blueberries has 4 grams of fiber. And let's see, a cup of cooked lentils has 16 grams of fiber, which is pretty amazing. So let's see. This one says, yeah, it doesn't break it down for us, but lentils. I got a visual aid. So a cup of cooked lentils has 16 grams. That's pretty awesome. And half of an avocado, so this is a pretty small avocado, but half of a medium avocado has 7 grams of fiber. So avocados are great. They have your monounsaturated fats. They have fiber. They have potassium. So probably this whole thing has 7 grams, but a medium-sized avocado has, half of a medium-sized avocado has 7 grams. So that's great. Okay, moving on. 1 cup of whole wheat pasta. A cup of cooked whole wheat pasta has 5 grams. Here is our trusty whole wheat pasta that we eat at our house. As you can see, Trader Joe's. Love Trader Joe's. Okay, and 1 cup of chopped cauliflower has 3 grams. Half a cup of oatmeal has 4 grams. This one says 5, so kind of just depends on the label, but between 4 and 5. So half a cup, oh, that's right, okay, yeah. So half a cup of dry oats. Here, I'm going to show this again because I just think this is really helpful. Okay. Ooh, okay. Has 5 grams of fiber, 2 grams soluble, 3 grams insoluble. That's a good one. And then if you have oatmeal for breakfast, you can add your berries, and you can add your chia seeds, and you've got and add some nuts. Oh yeah, let's do nuts here. Nuts add fiber as well. Then you've got a really high fiber breakfast. That's a good thing. So 1/4 of a cup of these sliced almonds. I bought these for smoothies for my smoothie book that I'm writing. 1/4 of a cup has 4 grams of fiber. So if you add that to your oatmeal, add that to your smoothie, you're getting a good amount of fiber. And all the nuts, you know, they vary, but they still have a good amount of fiber. 1 fresh fig, like a small to medium sized fresh fig, has between 1 and 2 grams per fig. It's pretty good. 1 cup of broccoli has 5 grams. So, lots of examples. Let me see what else. Oh, beets. Okay. If you watched my label reading episode, you'll recognize this can because we always have beans in our house, especially garbanzo beans. Half of a cup has 4 grams of fiber. You can find, whoops, there we go, right there. 1/2 cup, 4 grams fiber. Let's see what else. Oh, and popcorn. So, let's see the amount here. 2 tablespoons uncooked makes about 3 cups popped, and that makes 4 grams of fiber. So, popcorn. Add some olive oil. Delicious. Okay. So, those are my examples. I think I did all the examples. Okay. So, ways that you can add fiber into your diet. Eat all those foods that I just mentioned because they're all good sources. But other ways to add fiber is if you're baking something, do like half whole wheat, half regular, or half all-purpose flour. You know, it can just be a gradual thing. It doesn't always have to be 100%. So you can add some whole wheat flour to your baking. Like I was just saying before, add berries to your oatmeal, berries to your smoothie, berries to your cereal. Add beans to your salads, make roasted beans, make a stir fry, add beans to it. I add garbanzo beans to stir fry all the time, and it's delicious. Or pizza, or whatever you're cooking, just add beans. Always, whenever you're having a meal or a snack, just think, okay, I should probably have a fruit and vegetable with this meal. Even if it's a small amount. You know, it's something. It's something. So just always have that in mind, that every meal you're going to try to have a fruit and vegetable, and you're going to be getting fiber that way. Okay, I think that's a wrap on the information for now. Now we will make this delicious salad. Okay, I need the cutting board, but I have food on the cutting board, so we're going to sort of arrange some of the ingredients so far. So we're going to start with cabbage. I happen to have some cabbage at home because I made a slaw yesterday. It was our son's birthday. So we had a celebratory dinner and I made some slaw. So we had this already. It's purple cabbage. But you can use green cabbage, you can use purple cabbage. That's going to be the base of the salad. Okay. Then we put Thai basil, which we have a beautiful Thai basil plant in the backyard that my husband has been growing. Thai basil, the leaves are a little bit smaller than the basil that you typically see in the store, but it's really good. It's very refreshing. Okay, so we're going to add that to the top here. Then mint is next. fresh mint from our garden as well. I felt very lucky to just be going out to the backyard to get these things. Okay, so we've got mint, we've got basil. Okay, so I'm going to have one side of mint, one side of basil. Okay. Now that we have that on the side, I'm going to start making the dressing, which is a delicious sounding, where did I put that cup? Oh, here it is. Okay, the jar. A delicious sounding, excuse me, where is the lid? Okay. I'm going to need that. Oh, here it is. Okay. Whenever I make a dressing, I put it in a jar, and I was not finding the lid. Okay, here it is. Here's the jar. Make sure, okay. All right, so we are going to start with, and again, this is called Thai cabbage salad, 2 peas in their pod. Website, you can find it on relish.com. Okay, so we're going to take 1 lime, and we will juice the lime. So cut it in half. Get the trusty lime juicer. Okay, and then squeeze that. Let's see, yeah, I'm still on the camera. Okay, we'll squeeze that into the jar. Any jar will do. Okay, there's 1/2. Here's the other half. I think it said 3 tablespoons, but I figured 1 lime will be good. 1 lime will be good. Okay, so we've got lime juice. Next, we've got our trusty microplane. You don't have to use this, but it grates things really nicely. So you could use another grater, or you could just chop. Either way. Oh, but first, I have to take the peel off. So this is another garlic. It's garlic from our garden as well. And I'm just going to take the knife sideways. I don't know if you'll be able to see me doing it. And smash it. Okay. There we go. Peeled. Okay. And then we take the microplane and we're just going to grate it into that jar. Okay. Great. You just have to be careful as you get toward the end so you don't grate your fingertips, because that would not be fun. Okay. So 1 garlic clove grated. Okay. This one has a little bruise on the side, so I'm just going to keep that. And sometimes it gets caught in the microplane, so we're just going to hit that into the lime juice. Next is a 1/2 inch piece of fresh ginger. We're also going to use the microplane to grate that into the dressing. Alrighty. I'm just going to do a guess here. That seems a little unstable. Okay. Okay, here we go. Fresh ginger. I use fresh ginger so much in our house. It tastes so good. It's so good in dressings. Okay. That also gets caught in there, but I think we got a pretty good amount. I'm going to do a little bit more. Okay. What's next? Oh, a tablespoon of maple syrup. I poured some in here because our container just had a little bit of maple syrup left. So, okay, a tablespoon maple syrup. Alrighty. And salt and pepper. I'm going to just crunch some salt in there. Crunch some pepper in there. Here we go. And the recipe said sriracha, but I'm going to put some red pepper flakes. Keep it pure here. Okay, red pepper flakes. You can do any sort of spice you want, maybe fresh jalapeno, whatever. Or you don't have to do any spice. And then 1/4 of a cup of, it said mild oil, but we like olive oil. So I'm going to use olive oil. And I'm just going to guess here. I usually gauge by how much of the juice is in there, that I'm just going to do about the same amount of oil. So, isn't that a nice, pretty layer? Okay, then we'll put the lid on tightly. And there's our dressing. You might need to shake it again before putting it over the salad, but there it is. And then we also have some garden fresh carrots. I'm just going to tell you what I'm using. The recipe calls for a couple of different things than this, but, you know, use what you have at home. You don't always have to follow the recipe completely. And then I'm just cutting this carrot in half, and then I'm going to cut it just in very thin slices, like so. Very thin slices. Okay. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to just come show you this. Thin slices, carrots. I'm going to layer those onto the salad. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the cucumber. Okay. The recipe calls for mango, but I didn't happen to have mango at home. But I think that sounds really good and refreshing. But I'm going to use cucumber instead for my refreshment component. Okay. I also did thin slices for that. Okay. Thinly sliced cucumbers. Okay, we're going to layer that on top as well. So we're just going to be doing the layered look. You can also put this in a bowl and mix it up the way you like. Okay, so there we go. And, oh yes, it called for fresh green onion, but we have fresh small white onions. So I'm going to put that really thinly sliced. Okay. Very thinly sliced onion. Oh yeah, and I made pickled onion yesterday. So actually I'll put that there. And we have pickled onions right here. You know, because last week we did pickled foods. And so I've been pickling all kinds of food this weekend. So I made pickled onions. Here, I just want to show you because they're so good. They're so good on sandwiches, on salads, on all kinds of stuff. Okay. Then you top everything with some peanuts. So I'm going to just put some peanuts on top. Okay, so we've got our salad bowl. What do you think? And then you just drizzle the dressing over the top. You've got a meal. I'm going to probably add either like a hard-boiled egg or some chicken to it tonight for some protein. But there we go. A nice high-fiber salad. We've got our cucumbers, we got our carrots, we have our onions, we have our peanuts, and then we have our cabbage underneath. Great amount of fiber here. And delicious and refreshing, especially on hot summer days. So that is that. Thai cabbage salad. It's going to be really good. Thank you all so much for joining the show. I really appreciate you being here tonight. Today, whenever you're going to watch it is great. So soluble fiber, insoluble fiber. You know, I did find too that they say like don't get too stressed about which one to have more of or whatever. Just look for fiber amounts. Unless you're looking to really lower your cholesterol levels, then look for the soluble fiber. But in general, just follow those amounts. And have a great day. Have a great evening. Eat your fruits and vegetables, your nuts, beans, whole grains. You'll be good to go.